10 mentally disturbing signs your husband is using you. Hi friends, welcome to Marriage Realities, a comprehensive relationship channel. This video will be talking about the telling signs that your husband is using you. You feel absolutely traumatized when your gut feeling tells you that your husband is using you, isn't it? Many a time you experience a clear inkling that your love is being used by your husband in a rather selfish manner. Your relationship with your husband feels good to you only when he reciprocates your love and care. But when your husband enjoys all his comfort and relaxation from your dedicated love without giving anything back to you, you feel unloved, uncared and discarded in your relationship with him. You want nothing from your marriage than to be accepted as the most special person in your husband's life. When your husband clearly displays his love for you, you feel protected and cherished by him. On the contrary, when your husband is selfish and concentrated only on himself, you have nothing left in your marriage. Shall we now have a glimpse into the clear signs showing that your husband is using you? The number one sign that your husband is using you is non-communication. The way you communicate with each other decides the level of love between you. When your husband truly loves you, his interaction with you will be caring, frank and emotionally connected. But your unloving husband does nothing of the sort. Your husband talks with you only when he feels like it, that too about some mundane family problems. When you are unable to communicate with your husband, your feelings and emotions are all bottled up. When your husband behaves tight-lipped towards you, you feel as though you're living with a stranger. When your husband interacts with you, only when there is a drastic need for it, you feel emotionally crushed. The number two sign that your husband is using you is making you feel lonely. Even when your husband is home, you do not feel his presence. It is because when your husband is at home, he is silence personified, watching his favorite shows without involving himself in any of your family duties. Your husband often spends his time alone as though you did not exist for him. Your husband looks through you even when you try to catch his attention. The cold look in your husband's face when he looks at you makes you feel emotionally crushed and used. The number three sign your husband is using you is spending most of his time with his friends. You wait for weekends so that you can enjoy some personal space with your husband. But you're mostly disappointed as your husband is never home during the weekends. Instead of spending the weekends with you, your husband goes out to enjoy his time with his friends. He does not tell you where he is going and with whom he is going to spend his time with. You come to know about the rollicking time your husband had with his friends only when he shares his pictures in his Facebook or Instagram accounts. You're emotionally devastated when you see your husband having fun with his female friends about whom you never knew. The number four sign that your husband is using you is being physically intimate with you only when he is in the mood. You are sexually deprived by your husband as he does not care for your expectations of having physical intimacy with him. But when your husband is physically hungry, he compels you to have sex with him. After his physical hunger is satisfied by you, he turns over to sleep. The loveless behavior of your husband makes your body feel invaded by him. Number five sign that your husband is using you is being selfish in money matters. Your husband often borrows money from you but never returns it. You do not know the reasons why he borrowed money from you. But your husband refuses to part with this money even when you ask it for family needs. Your husband insensitively tells you that he has given his share for the financial needs of the family and that you have to adjust within it. You can only feel furiously angry at the selfish attitude of your husband. The number six sign that your husband is using you is when all family responsibilities are thrust on you. Your husband acts as though he need not lift his fingers to fulfill any family duties. The financial responsibilities of your family must be dealt with only by you. Your husband is also not a good father to his children. He does not look after the children even when you have other work to do. This sort of self-centered behavior of your husband makes your relationship with him seem too one-sided to you. The number seven sign that your husband is using you when he is indifferent to your feelings as his family degrade you. The family of your husband often degrade you as they feel you're not good enough for him. When they utter demeaning words against you, he looks on as though it did not concern him. What shocks you is when your husband seems to enjoy your agony. It is as though he feels that his family is talking only what he feels about you. The number 8 sign that your husband is using you when he wants everything done his way. Your husband wants you to do everything according to his liking. You cannot watch a movie you prefer. If at all your husband takes you out, it is to a place he prefers. Everything you buy for your home should be according to his liking. Your husband does not for once think that you two have equal rights in the family. Your personal wishes and desires remain buried within you, as your husband will not allow it to be fulfilled. The number 9 sign that your husband is using you is when he does not return your calls. Whenever you call your husband, he does not answer your call. He does not call you back even after seeing your missed call. There are times you're held in a traffic or held up in your office due to a hectic overload of work. You call your husband to tell him that you will be late to return home. Your husband sounds curt when he answers you. There's absolutely no concern in his voice, making you feel as though he does not care for you. The number 10 sign your husband is using you is when he makes you feel left out. Whenever there is a family gathering, he does not stay with you. Whenever you go to a friend's get-together, your husband leaves you alone to fend for yourself. Your husband also does not include you in his conversation with his family or friends. It is as though your husband has forgotten he is married to you. A loving husband is a wife's ultimate blessing. On the contrary, a selfish and unloving husband is a wife's ultimate curse. You're indeed lucky if your husband loves and cherishes you. But when your husband uses you for his own comfort and relaxation, you can only curse your luck for having married a man who gives you nothing back for the love and care he enjoys from you. Did this video make you understand the clear-cut signs that show your husband is using you? Marriage Realities will have many such relationship eye-openers. Subscribe to my channel to understand your marriage in a new light. Press the bell icon for updates about my latest relationship videos. Make love forever until death do us part, your relationship goal.